Hi, my name is Rick Nason. I'm going to be your professor for the course Financial Management, B-Management 3201. I actually teach the in-class session of this course, and to be very blunt, this is the first time that I've taught a completely online course, so it's a new experience for me. I believe that the in-class session is the best way to do a course, but we're going to try to make this as good as we possibly can, along with my tutorial assistant, Megan Hapgood, who will be running the tutorial by video lecture for this course. So what is this course about? Well, obviously it's about finance. Finance is basically the study of risk and return, as you'll see in the first lecture that we're going to do. Finance, of course, is a required core course in the B-Management program, and you're probably wondering why that is so. Again, that's kind of the topic for the first lecture for this course, but ultimately finance affects all forms of managerial decision-making and, in reality, personal decision-making as well. Hopefully you will find this to be a practical and applicable course, and hopefully not too painful. So one of the questions that you might reasonably have at this point in time is, what is the difference between the online class versus the in-class sessions? Well, as I've already stated, hopefully there will be as little difference as possible. You're still going to have exams. In fact, you're going to have a midterm and a final exam, for which you will need to make arrangements for at a university. We'll have more details on that as the course progresses. We will be having an in-class time, and we will have arrangements here at Dalhousie for those of you that are in Halifax to rate it. You will be having the same number of assignments. There's going to be 12 assignments for this class. What you will not have is you will not have the class interaction, though we will have at least 2 live classrooms on BLS. Personally, I think BLS would have been considered a computer pig in the 1970s, and thus you probably don't need to know what I think of BLS as a teaching system as we are in 2011. You will not have access to the tutorial leader, although you can post questions on the discussion board. However, again, I think that there's a diminished effect there from actually being able to see Megan do her stuff live. Finally, as is evidenced by this video, the major difference between the in-class and online session is that I will not always be wearing a tie. Briefly going through the outline, which you should be able to find on the BLS site. A couple of things I'd like to bring up is, as I say, in the outline you'll see that we're trying to take an approach that's as close to the class as possible. Thus, you will see that we have 25 sessions, if you will, for this, as we do with the in-class session. And in terms of your own personal pacing, you can figure out that there's roughly 2 sessions per week, because in total, there's 13 weeks to this course. The textbook that we're going to use is CFIN 2. This is actually an early edition of the textbook, not the edition that you'll be using. I've been led to believe by the publisher that the main difference is CFIN, the second edition, has more questions at the end of the chapter. Otherwise, there's a little difference in the actual text. So, if you have this edition here, you probably do not want to go out and buy a second edition. However, we did have to change over as they're no longer publishing this version in a couple of months. Methods of evaluation. 20% for assignments, there's 30% for a midterm exam, and 50% is on your final exam. There's a clause, if you read the outline, you'll notice that there's a clause that if you do not get a mark of at least 60% on both the midterm exam and on the final exam, then your assignment grades will not count towards your final grade, and your midterm and your final exam will be adjusted up proportionately. So again, in this course, you must achieve at least a 60% on your midterm exam and 60% on your final exam in order for your assignments to count. The course outline goes through 25 different sections. As I say, roughly 2 sessions per week. What you'll see is there's a couple of catch-up weeks. For example, session 11 is a catch-up, and to allow you to make up for any time that you might have lost. And likewise, session 12 is your exam. In addition, session 25 is a review session. We will be covering the entire book. We will be going through from front to end. Now, the final comment I want to make is for each session, there's going to be probably a PowerPoint lecture, plus some type of supplemental material and a tutorial. I cannot emphasize enough that it's important that you read the book as well as look at the material that's on the website. I'm a big believer in the philosophy that if you know everything in this book, then you're worth the roughly $80 that the book costs you. There will be material that will be examined that's covered in the PowerPoint lectures and in the supplemental material that is not in the book. And we'll be taking a different spin on things because ultimately you're signing up for a class that's taught by a specific professor, and otherwise the professor has no duty whatsoever if they don't include in their own views and opinions and research on the subject. Anyhow, I hope this introduction helps you get acquainted with this course, and I look forward to hearing from you on the discussion boards as we go through. Thank you.